Thank you very much, all of you, for attending, and for Bill, thank you for being here. And the origin of this is to know what each of us did before we got here. And so our conversation, this is the fifth one of these, I'm calling them reflections, the fifth one that we've had here. So let's begin.
Let's begin.
Who
will begin?
I'll ask you a question.
All right. I might answer it.
Good. Now, you grew up in Long Island. That's all I know.
All right.
So tell me more about your high school years and what life was like for you.
Life didn't really start for me until I met my wife.
Oh, interesting.
And I suppose I should start with her. She died 4 years ago. And that's like no time at all. I'm waiting for her to catch up with me. Well, growing up in Queens, we had a club like in my best man's, in my friend's basement, and we would have dances there. And my wife, Dorothy, I first saw at one of those dances, but I was too shy about her. I didn't think she wanted to talk to me. I was never shy around girls, just around Dorothy. But we had a Saturday night party, dance in my friend's finished basement. And I went there and said, well, I will dance with her. And that was the beginning. And we danced all night.
Oh,
till most people left, till finally midnight. And I said to her, you better get home. She lived in the west side. I knew she lived in the west side of Manhattan.
mm-hmm.
And I knew she didn't drive. So I said, I'll drive you home.
Oh.
And that was a great line to start with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We made small talk most of the night in the car, and when we got outside her apartment house where she lived with her family, her parents mostly, we got there and I said to her, I'd like to see you again. She said to me, I'd like to see you again. But I can't, because she was an executive secretary, and the executive was taking part of the company to California. And she was going. She was all set, packed. And I said to her, I'll jump right into it. I said, I got my nerve up and I said to her, and I have plenty of nerve. I'm not worried, I'm not a shy person. And I said to her, what did I say to her?
I'm attracted to you, probably, or something like that.
I said to her, I actually said, I guess I'll have to marry you then. To keep you, I don't know if I was serious, well, I was serious, but I didn't think I would get the reply that I got from her, because I thought, well, she said, well, I'd like to marry you too.
Whoa,
Whoa,
how nice that is.
yeah.
Lightning struck right
Yeah,
there.
right there, right
Yeah.
there. And we got married. Well, I was in college at the time, and I was finishing my first master's, which got me a teaching degree. And it was the week before Christmas. And I told her, well, we can't get married till Christmas Day, because I have finals and stuff to take to get my master's degree, so I will be eligible to get a job teaching.
Mm.
I'm trying to, the memories are flooding out my story.
Well, let's change the focus a little bit. What about college?
Oh, I don't want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I want to get to your boxing. That's what I want to get to.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Why?
People, I'm a poet, and I have my poems. Some of them are published in the in this. Some of my poems are published in the. Where's the best place you would publish somebody's poetry?
I don't know. A good publisher.
The New Yorker?
No, it wasn't. I've had poems in the New Yorker.
You seem to not want to talk about your boxing, is it?
No, I'll get to it.
Okay.
That's people. If anybody's impressed with me at all, then they're not impressed with my poetry. Unfortunately, they want to hear about boxing.
Boxing, yeah.
And I guess that's the way the world goes. You know, people find boxing not the brutal sport that it is, but something glorious about it. Well, believe me, it's nothing glorious about it. Even if you win. And I never lost a fight except one. And I'll get to that.
What about Golden Gloves? You were part of that too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Golden Gloves is a competitive thing where the best boxers are allowed to compete at the level of Golden Gloves. And Bill was there doing that.
Yeah, well, that's the crown of amateur boxing.
Right.
And I worked after school, so and all my friends were playing sports after school, but I had to work, so the only thing open after 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock is the gym. So I went to the gym, and I had a hunch that I might be a good boxer because, well, let me back up a little bit. I lived in an Italian family. My grandmother and grandfather came from Italy, and my father and my mother and father divorced before my memory happened. So before I was a year old.
Ah.
Now, why did I tell you that?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm wondering, did college figure in your?
Eventually.
Okay.
Eventually. But I was not a good student in high school.
Now, if you move ahead in time in your life, somewhere along the way you were making money, you had a career, etc. Would you like to say some things about that?
You know, by that time I was old. Let me say, I lived with my Italian grandparents, and they had about 7 or 8 children, men and women, and I came along, and they kind of adopted me. So I had a lot of mothers and fathers.
Well, I've got a question for you about Golden Gloves. Isn't that a way that people that are really good at boxing can compete at a higher level? Is that what it's about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's advanced amateurism.
Okay. And you had to compete to get into it? Is that how it worked?
No, I don't know. I went to the gym and I knocked out the first person they put me in the ring with.
Oh my goodness.
And here I was, and all right, now I'm on track. I was from the only Italian family in an Irish neighborhood. So don't you think boxing was something I had to learn eventually? I did learn it one day. Usually it helped me learn how to run fast. And one day I said, what am I doing? What am I running away for? I turned around and hit the guy that was chasing me, and he went down. Well, what do you know about that? I can use my fists instead of my feet. And that started it. That's one of the reasons why I went into the boxing gym. And before I knew about it, I was an amateur fighter, and I won all my fights by knockouts.
Wow. How many did you have all told?
I don't know. I really don't know.
But more than 10, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And some were just not really fights, but for instance, the gym, the string of boxes in the gym that I was with would travel to other gyms.
Uh-huh.
And I traveled to one gym in Manhattan, and the way the protocol was you get in the ring with these other people and shadow box. And I was in the ring, and there was this tall, good-looking, virile-looking person on the far side of the ring, and I said to somebody, "Why is he all alone?" He said, "Well, that's Cassius Clay."
Muhammad Ali later.
Yeah. And he was at the top of the amateurs at that time, and since I won all my fights, they put me in with him. Said, "Go in there and shadow box with him." Well, shadow boxing, you don't touch. But one of us touched, and the other one touched back.
Uh-oh.
And eventually he was a lot heavier than me. So he probably got the best of me, but I did all right with him. And eventually they separated us, and that's the end of my career with Cassius Clay. Thank God. So I went on and won all my fights,
Wow.
and finally went into the Golden Gloves, and I won all them.
Oh my word.
I never lost a fight because, well, I was a street fighter too. Because if you're the only Italian in an Irish neighborhood, you better learn how to fight. I learned first how to run, but then I learned how to fight. And
Do you think your background is different than the other guys your age growing up? Or were all the boys pretty much doing what you're describing?
no, they were playing sports after school.
Okay.
And I came from I didn't have an allowance or anything like that. If I needed money, I had to make it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to work after school. And then that's what pointed me toward the gym finally.
Did the idea of going professional ever run through your head?
Well, it was obvious that's where I was heading,
Yeah.
and I was against it. I really didn't enjoy hitting other people, although I was a street fighter, defending myself. So, I won all my fights, most of them by knockouts. In the early fight, I had a formula. I would go out and work on the other guy's body, and really smash him his kidneys and everything I could. And I come out in the second round, and I fake to the body, and his guard would go down, and my best punch was my left hook, and that usually did it. If not, I had the straight right, and that finished him.
This is a topic that probably has not a heck of a lot of relevance for women, right? Women
Yeah.
don't get into fist fights that I know of, right?
Well, that's changed lately.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my final fight in the Golden Gloves was for the welterweight division. And then my choice would be perhaps the Olympics. But the fight didn't go the way I wanted it to go because I heard a bell ring. I went according to my plan usually. I worked on his body in the beginning, in this last fight, the fight I lost. And you don't win fights by working on the body. So you got to get up to the face. And you got a beer around here?
Oh,
A beer?
a beer?
That might loosen me up. Anyway, I had the guy in the second round hanging on the ropes, and I went in to finish him, and I heard the bell ring. And I think God rang that bell, because I backed up, went to my corner. The referee says, "Get out here and fight. You're not here to sit in your corner." And I said, "What's the matter with you? Didn't you hear?" My language probably wasn't too good at the time. Didn't you hear the bell ring? And well, the fight continued after the intermission. I think a minute I think it's 3 minutes around, a minute in between. And I lost my memory for the last round, for the end. But I thought, I didn't remember getting hit. I thought I probably would win, and I didn't. I lost by 1 point. The referee voted against me because a couple of the names I called him, I think.
Not a good thing to go after the referee.
So where do I go from here? All right, so I hung up my gloves because I wanted to do that all along, but when you get involved in something and you're good at it, it's hard to quit it. But I did quit it, and somehow I discovered literature. Through an author, and I don't have his name, and the book is in my house, and that's a different story. So I became a Mark Twain fan. And I read everything I could that this author had put in his enormous book, anthology of literature. And it pointed me in a different direction, a direction that I was more in favor of. I was glad to be finished with boxing. Although sometimes I hear a bell ring and I... So I lost that fight by 1 point, and I gave up that kind of was a good thing. I thought God rang that bell. Next thing it finds me graduating from high school. I was born in Queens, by the way. Went to Newtown High School. I was an agriculture student, so I called a Subway farmer. And I worked on farms in between the summer vacations. And one of the farms was in Sheffield, Massachusetts, where my family owned some land. And I spent all my spare time in Sheffield, Massachusetts. So when I graduated from high school, finally, I took a year and traveled around and ended up in Sheffield. But after working on farms full time, I saw that wasn't for me. I didn't have any free time. I couldn't do a lot of the things I like to do, like traveling and such. So I ended up kind of lost. I didn't know what to do with myself, so what did I do? I joined the Air Force and ended up in Texas, which was worse than anything. And eventually in Korea, which was worse than the worst. When I got out of the service, finally, I hated the service. I didn't like people telling me what to do. And I kept getting stripes and losing them, or going AWOL. Finally, I got my honorable discharge, and I continued going to night school. and finally, and ended up getting a master's degree in my first master's degree, which got me my teaching license so that I could eventually support myself. Well, the next big thing that happened to me was I met my wife Dorothy at a, I think I told you earlier, at a kind of a hangout, and my friends, who eventually became the best man at my wedding, my friend's finished basement, which was our clubhouse. And I danced with her all night long. Everybody else left, except her. And she said, you know, it's midnight, I have to go home. She lived on the west side of Manhattan. So I said, well, I'll have to drive you there. I wouldn't want you to have to take the bus and the train. And I borrowed my friend's car and drove her. And did I tell you that I asked her out? She said she couldn't see me because she was going to California with her company. Did I tell you that I said to her, I guess I'll have to marry you? Did I tell you that?
Yes.
Yeah. And she said, I guess you do. So that was the start of my life, really. Start of my family. I ended up with, we had a boy son a year later. I was still going to night school. Why, I don't know. I guess I didn't want to, I didn't have, education courses were shallow, I thought. So I enrolled in NYU, and I got a master's there. That wasn't easy. It was much harder.
My wife got her master's at NYU. I wonder, it'd be unlikely that you would meet her because they're a large student population, right? NYU.
Well, the class wasn't too large. And it was hard. I mean, I worked more in one part of that curriculum than I did in all the others for my education diploma. So, Dorothy was a city girl, and she didn't know much about the country. I said to her, all right, let's move to Sheffield. And we'll build a house after we're sure we're going to stay there. And she said, well, I'm a city girl, but I'll go to the country with you. by the end of for 1 year, and I said, if you're unhappy by that year, I'll move back to the city. Well, she was milking goats by the end of that year. And we started our house, built our house, and finished it 25 years later, because I got a job teaching English. And so I would get 2 months off in the summer. And most of the people I knew worked in the summer, took summer jobs. Well, our summer job was finishing the house for the first month, and then traveling for the second month, or vice versa sometimes. And we traveled a lot for 30. We traveled. We visited most of Western Europe in 25 years. And the house during that time we moved into while we were still building it. And we had our first daughter. Remember, we had a boy first. So he helped build the house as he got older. He's still a great carpenter. And even Willa, who was our middle daughter, English teachers often named their children after English heroes, like Emily Dickinson. That was our youngest daughter, Emily Dickinson DeVoti. Willa Cather was our middle daughter, and Mark Twain was our oldest son. So all you had to do was know my children's names and you knew what my business was. Eventually we finished the house, enough to live in anyway. And I remember after 25 years putting the last molding up in a little room, which made the house finished. So,
Do you still have that house?
still have the house.
Great.
My dog's living in it. I always had a dog since I was a teenager, and this dog was the second Bouvier de Flanders that we had, and that's a big dog, 110 pounds. Okay, so you got any questions now?
Well, I was just going to say that he's a wonderful dog, and every time you brought him here, I really enjoy. And I mean, everybody else does too. You know?
Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, great! Oh, great! Does any of you have questions or things you'd like to ask of Bill? Given his amazing background, perhaps there's something you'd like. Anybody?
Maybe I'll ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did I tell you I had two things that that people like to talk about when they talk to me. One is the boxing. That's number one. How did you do it? What did you do? Who did you fight? The second was poetry. How did you get involved in poetry? I don't know. I always wrote poems.
Did you write poetry too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I have several little books of poems, and I'm working now on a collected poetry book. And I don't know what else to talk about.
I think you've done a very good job of giving us, your background.
Thank you.
All right. I should have brought some poems with me because you can tell a lot about me by the poems. But I've done 2 poetry readings here, and I have enough left that I haven't read for a third.
Oh, good.
And I don't know when I'll do that. I have to organize them. Somewhere here, I got this disease. What is it? Anybody know what it is?
Just, can you know more about it? What do you know? Can you describe it more? Because it's pretty general.
It's hard to walk. I can't walk without this.
Without a walker, yeah.
You know.
I don't know.
But I can always get one punch in, and that's all I need.
I have never met an individual before who was a boxer. So that's, going through that must have been quite amazing.
It was, but it was really easy for me. I don't know. I never got hurt, and I lost that one time in the ring, and I don't even remember. I had the guy in the ropes. All I had to do was hit him one more time, and I heard the ring. God rang the bell. So I went back, and I don't remember the rest of the fight, except that I didn't get hurt, and neither did the other guy, evidently. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah. So I don't even enjoy watching boxing shows now.
I must say, I'm not a fan. Boxing is the only sport that I know of where the objective is to hurt the opponent. And that somehow bothers me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I hesitated so much. I just...
Any other questions or things we want to... Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just, a question. Did you have any brothers? You had any siblings? You had siblings?
I had half siblings.
Where were you?
I had
One of them? Both of them?
my young half sister, and I had a half brother, and they both passed away. So.
Well, we're glad you're here, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.